The morning began like any other in the quiet suburbs of northern Ohio. Streets were empty, porch lights still glowing faintly in the early darkness, and most residents were asleep, unaware that a crime was unfolding behind closed doors. At exactly 6:42 a.m., emergency dispatch received a call that would later be replayed hundreds of times in courtrooms, interrogation rooms, and true crime documentaries. The caller was a woman. Her voice was low, shaking, and strained, as if she were afraid to make any sound at all. She said only a few words. "Someone is inside my house. Please help." Then the call went silent. Dispatch immediately attempted to reconnect, but the line was dead. Police were dispatched with urgency, treating it as a possible home invasion in progress. Officers arrived at the address in less than 7 minutes. To them, it looked like an ordinary family home. No broken windows, no damaged doors, no obvious signs of forced entry. But experience told them something was wrong. The front door was unlocked. As officers entered, they announced their presence loudly, standard protocol in a potentially dangerous situation. There was no response. The house felt unnaturally still. In the living room, cushions were scattered, a coffee table lay on its side, and a lamp was smashed against the wall. These were not signs of a random burglary. This was a struggle. Moving upstairs, officers followed faint marks on the carpet that looked like something heavy had been dragged. At the end of the hallway, the master bedroom door was partially open. Inside, they found Emily Miller. She was alive, but barely. Her wrists and ankles were bound, her face bruised, and blood was visible on the side of her head. She attempted to speak but collapsed as paramedics rushed in. While checking the rest of the house, officers discovered something chilling. The couple's 2 young children were asleep in their bedroom. Their door was locked from the outside. Completely unharmed, whoever attacked Emily had deliberately left them untouched. Detectives quickly realized this was not a random crime. Nothing appeared stolen. Jewelry boxes were still full. Electronics were still plugged in. There was no sign of a break-in. The attacker knew the house, knew the layout, knew where everyone slept. Emily was rushed to the hospital in critical condition. Doctors warned that survival was uncertain. Meanwhile, police began piecing together the family's background. David Miller, Emily's husband, worked night shifts at a nearby warehouse. He had been married to Emily for 9 years. Neighbors described them as quiet, private, and polite. No known domestic disputes. No police calls. No visible warning signs. When detectives reached David at work, coworkers said his reaction was strange. He appeared shocked, but emotionally flat. He did not panic. He did not ask immediate questions. He simply said he would come to the hospital. His timeline seemed solid. He had clocked in at 9 p.m. and was scheduled to finish at 7 a.m. Investigators reviewed surveillance footage from nearby homes. One camera captured a dark sedan driving slowly through the neighborhood just after 3 a.m. Another showed the same vehicle parking briefly near the Miller home before disappearing again. The footage was too blurry to identify the driver, but it raised concerns. Phone records were pulled. David's phone location showed him at the warehouse all night. At first, this seemed to clear him. But a digital forensic analyst noticed something unusual. The phone had been powered off for exactly 36 minutes during the early morning hours. The timing matched the suspected window of the attack. When questioned, David explained that his phone battery often died at work. But that explanation unraveled quickly. Coworkers confirmed that charging stations were readily available, and David was known to use them. Security logs also showed that David exited the warehouse briefly through a rear entrance during that same time window. 2 days later, Emily regained consciousness. What she told detectives changed the direction of the investigation entirely. She described the attacker as silent, controlled, and deliberate. He wore gloves and a mask, but he moved through the house with confidence. He knew where the bedroom light switches were. He knew where she kept her phone. At one moment, she said, the mask slipped. She recognized his eyes immediately. She said it was her husband. Detectives now treated David as the primary suspect. A deeper investigation into the family's finances revealed significant debt. Credit cards Emily did not know about. Late payments. Loans taken out in secret. 3 months earlier, David had increased Emily's life insurance policy substantially, naming himself as the sole beneficiary. A search of David's vehicle revealed a hidden secondary phone. On it were internet searches detailing sedatives, binding techniques, and how to make a home invasion look random. There were also encrypted messages discussing timing, security cameras, and escape routes. David was arrested without incident. During interrogation, he denied everything. He claimed Emily was confused, suffering from trauma-induced memory distortion. He insisted he loved his family and would never hurt them. Detectives remained calm, letting him talk. Then they played the 911 call. Audio experts testified that beneath Emily's whisper, another presence could be detected. The breathing pattern, timing, and cadence matched David's known speech patterns. Combined with digital evidence, surveillance logs, and financial motive, the case became overwhelming. At trial, the defense attempted to introduce doubt by highlighting the lack of direct DNA evidence. Prosecutors countered by presenting a minute-by-minute reconstruction of the crime. They demonstrated how David left work unnoticed, drove home using side streets, committed the attack, staged the scene, and returned before anyone realized he was gone. The jury deliberated for less than 4 hours. David Miller was found guilty on all charges and sentenced to life in prison without parole. Emily survived, but her life was permanently changed. She underwent months of rehabilitation and later relocated with her children, leaving behind the home where trust had nearly cost her life. This case remains one of the most disturbing examples of calculated domestic violence disguised as a random crime. A reminder that the most dangerous predators are not always strangers, but sometimes the people we trust the most. This was Crime Snap USA. One case. One truth. No escape.